Casino, Culture Casino, Culture
Culture
Casino,
Casino.
Culture
Culture
Casino,
Casino.
Culture Casino.
Holy cow, the weatherman hits it up. Boom. Gifty right at the beginning of the stream over on the Green Machine. That's right. We have memberships over on the Rumbling, Stumbling, Bumbling Rumble. Good morning, everybody. Look at all these amazing people. Look at this. Jeremiah Hembry sent me this note. 17 months. Wow, my friend. Thank you for that support. The Punisher is going to be a part of the next Spider-Man film, along with Daredevil. My goodness, they're going to be swinging for the fences. Thank you, Weatherman. And thank you, Jeremiah Hembry. Good morning, William Schweikert. Good to see you. Tobach is out there in the house. Otherwise, a Proctor's Deuces Stipendium Compendium, I think. Who else is out there in the world? Me. So's Dr. Jill. Thanks for being here, Jill. You are amazing. You know who I'm missing? Ms. Pick Cafe. Kind of bummed out. Davina, good morning, dear. Good to see you. I'm suing YouTube for brain damage. Good luck with that. Penny. Ooh, you're at the ball game. I hope it's fun. Enjoy. Love the weekend baseball games. They're super fun. Culture Casino. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Thanks for being here. I want to say thanks to each and every one of you. We are live. We've got, that's only like a 5-minute intro. It gives everybody time to get here. And as Putin's cat requested several months ago, I created an extra lengthy little intro so that it would skip through the ads that I guess you guys are served up at the beginning of the stream. I want to say hi to, of course, Brian Mack and ASCII. All right. We've got, Running with Scissors out there, Low Spec Linux Gaming, of course, and Timmy. Good morning, Tim Hayes. Good to see you, buddy. We got a member stream coming up next Saturday, a week from today. I'm thinking maybe it's High Rollers. I don't know. I have to look it up, but there you go. Battle Bunny is out there. Great to see you, Battle Bunny. We got a few other folks rolling through the door, of course. And I just want to say to the wrenches, thank you for a week of amazing. Phil Metzger's in the house. Great to see you. Hi, chat. Didn't expect to catch this from X. Oh, you betcha. Serve up the program on as many platforms as I can. I'm actually considering going back to Twitch and Kick, believe it or not, because I think I can stream up to 5 platforms simultaneously, which is awesome. Jeff Smith's in the house. All evening to you. Amazing iconography there. Love that. Punisher iconography. Let's see. Speaking of Punisher, I think that's a great place to just mention that that's an opportunity. Spider-Man and the Punisher. You're talking about street level stuff that we don't get to see. And combining Hell's Kitchen with Peter's neck of the woods is going to be kind of cool, I think, if that happens. Let's see. Who else is out there in the world? So many other. Chef Eddie's here. What's going on? It's Culture in the Wilton Show. I would love to have Wilton on as a special guest. Snakes, what's up, buddy? Snakes and Funerals in the house. And a few other folks as well. The lovely Juliet from across the pond saying hello to a young Gandalf, if only. We got O.C. Dobbins from the belly of the beast itself. I hope you're doing well, friend. I have not seen you in person in a long time. I hope you can catch a member stream at some point. John Yolden, also across the pond. I missed the show yesterday. I got overly busy, and I'm going to be recording again today for the other channel. So I am having fun over there. Very excited about that. We got Morgan King out there saying hello. Hello to you, my friend. And our friend Barry the Music Man. Morning, Culture Crew. That's right. Greetings, Culturians. And there is the man himself. The man, the myth, the legend, the YouTuber's YouTuber folks. This is a guy who, with very few videos and almost no effort, is in the top 8% of YouTube channels. This man is a legend. What an amazing YouTuber. I can't even believe it. Unbelievable. All right, let's get it done. Let's see. We got stories galore today. I can't believe we're going to try to get through as many as we can. I'm going to start in a weird place because it's out of place. Well, I'm going to start with the gaming story. A little early for the diddler on YouTube because we're only 8 minutes in. So let's do this. Lord Thoth, one of the earliest wrenches for the channel. Good to see you. Let's do it. Transition there. All right. So it looks like Xbox's new next-gen console is going to be powered by AMD. We already know that they are utilizing handhelds right now with built-in Xbox, and it also has access, believe it or not, to your stuff on Steam and maybe other platforms as well. But Xbox announced Tuesday a multi-year partnership with the tech company AMD, among other things, to power its next generation of gaming consoles. And per Microsoft, we've established a strategic multi-year agreement with AMD to co-engineer silicon across a portfolio of devices, including our next-gen Xbox consoles. So there you are. They are staying in the console game, at least for one more generation. And if you want to get one of the Republic of Gamers consoles, they are supposedly in demand. And because of their price point, screen size, and hardware, are not only competitive with the original Steam Deck, they may be even equal to what it was before. I almost said that differently. This is all about building you a gaming platform that's always with you. Video game. Sarah Bond said in a video announcing the deal. My goodness, I can't read today. So you can play the games you want across devices anywhere you want, delivering you an Xbox experience not locked into a single store or tied to one device. Because you, in this situation, are the valuable asset itself. They're going to farm you based on what you play, when you play it, how you play it. They're going to have your location data, everything else. These portable platforms are great for tracking you. That's right, because most people are going to take it with them. It'll be interesting. Didi Jouvence says, well, great. Maybe AMD should start thinking about lowering the prices for their GPUs. That would be great, wouldn't it? Yeah. Oh, wait. Chef Eddie's making some rabbit chicken tacos for lunch. Awesome. See, Mikey's got new outlets opening all the time. And let's see who else we got out there. Battle Bunny says ITCMs like CC gets a lot more wrenches. Tons of blue. Yeah, we've got great big amounts of blue here today, which I appreciate. I'm always trying to make sure that the stream goes smoothly. Barry says it's almost 90 degrees out and it's 10 a.m. Yeah, sorry about that. It's summer. The solstice, was that yesterday? The longest day of the year was yesterday, right? Yeah, I think so. Hey, BMO Beta, going to BMO Beta. Great to see you. And this is true. I mean, AMD is cheaper, but not quite as good as NVIDIA. I agree. And Phil has the right idea. Make tacos great again. That's right. Thank you, Mexican Iron Man. That's right. As long as you are signed into Xbox, of course. That's right. Again, these are going to be great little track you humans everywhere. I don't really like that. Not so much. But, hey, I had to bring you the gaming story first. I hope you enjoyed it. Let's see what you guys are saying on top of it all. We got a few other folks with some thoughts. I got a great deal on a bunch of Nintendo Switch 2s, real cheap from Colorado. That's right. That semi truck. They. I guess it was a duck. What they call a ducktail, but they cleared out half that truck. That's crazy. I still think that was an inside job, but that's just me. That's crazy stuff, though. At least I think so. Oh my goodness. Let's see what else can we talk about. Let's get to this weird announcement that I think is bonker sauce, but I don't know if it's a bad thing. We of course have the new Henry Cavill Highlander coming to us, but we got an announcement today or yesterday, I should say, that Russell Crowe is going to star in Chad Stahelski's Highlander reboot. All right. I think that'll be fun. Hopefully he doesn't flick too hard. So Collider is reporting that none other than Russell Crowe will be joining Cavill. The Oscar winner will play Cavill's mentor in the variation on the part played by Sean Connery in the 1986 original, which I have to tell you, I think it's going to be great. I really do. So this project's had multiple production delays. Stahelski's last mentioned that it would shoot in January, but then Ballerina needed some refining. And let me tell you, if you still haven't seen Ballerina, while it's still in theaters on the best quality screen you can see this on, plus the best sound you can find, go and check it out. It's a 7 out of 10 enjoyable film with not a lot of girl bossing, if any. Regardless, the film will start production this September, which we're coming up on, with a potential release eyed for late 2026. I don't think there's going to be a ton of effect shots in that, so I think we'll be good for that. Highlander, Lionsgate balked, capping their interest at a still eye-opening $165 million. Amazon, because they light cigars with money, that's right, said sure, and took over the project. And you know what? With Jennifer Salke gone over there, that might actually be a big winner. You got any takers out there on seeing a new version of Highlander with Cavill and Russell Crowe? I am. I'm excited for that. The lovely Sherry just swings a bat and smashes my heart on Anna de Armas not being a good actress and not enjoying the film. Oh, that's fair. You've changed your profile again. Amazing. You are always a ray of sunshine, dear. I appreciate you being here. Speaking of being here, we got Luke. What's up, my friend? Great to see you. Great to see you. Let's see. Hey, Admiral Teague's back. What's up, buddy? I haven't seen you in a minute. Hope you're doing well. Barry, the music man, says there can only be one. That's right. I'm stoked though. I like these movies. Some people were really down on them. I enjoyed the first one. Second one was okay. But the stories can be as plain as they are. I mean, The Quickening, it's a different conversation, but I like the way that they're done. And I think there's more to movies that have less of the glitziness. I don't think that's necessary. Commander Ed Straker of Shadows in the house. He's getting a free tacos at the taco truck, it looks like. Amazon lights cigars with money, then uses the scar to light the IPs on fire. There you go, Mark. It's great to see you, buddy. I've been seeing you everywhere. Thanks for the support on all of my friends' channels. Lasher. I'm hoping that this Highlander movie is good. Me too. I'm kind of afraid to get excited about it. I'm not. Man, we've been seeing so much junk. Tony Piacente in the house today says I would definitely see Cavill Highlander, and I think a lot of people. I know our friend Anna that Star Wars girl is going to be all over that movie. Bid you order the tabletop role playing game Tomb Raider Shadows of Truth? Did I? I think I remember you mentioning it. I did not. Do I need to look into this? Hey, Frank's here. What's up, Frank? When you're refined, every day is a Saturday. That's right. And when you're retired as well, which is actually what you typed. Jeff Pearson, still no custom emoji this channel. I'm working on it. I promise. I'm working on it. I'll get there, brother. I'll get there. Man, the new channel's doing great. Have you guys checked that out yet? Campione Reacts, Campione Reacts on YouTube. I will be spreading that channel to Rumble here shortly. You'll be able to watch the same videos over on Rumble that I'm going to post on YouTube. So there's that. Nope, culture is slacking. I am. That's probably true. It's probably true. John, good morning. John, the Beagle Dad in the house. Great to see you, buddy. Yeah, Mexican Iron Man has an amazing channel. The guy is in the top 5%, top 8% of YouTube channels and getting closer and closer to the top. You're aiming for the top 5, right, Mexican Iron Man? See, I'm aiming for the top 1%, but I'm afraid Mexican Iron Man is going to go past me. I've been held down lately by the man over at the YouTube. I don't know why. Speaking of tacos, says Carl Singh, I need to really eat some. It has been a while. I know, right? I feel like I have to eat a taco every week, at least once a week. Have a taco or 2 or 3. Usually it's 2 tacos. That's me. Look at all these beings. You guys are incredible. The chat's chatting to each other. They're chatting to me. The lovely Cynthia Carter has joined us today. Good to see you, dear. Thanks for being here. The tabletop role-playing game Tomb Raider Shadows of Truth. It got canceled. It did? They just don't know what to do with Tomb Raider. Let's be honest about it. And they put that crazy lady in charge of it that thinks she's funny. Chef Eddie says they're going to get Kanye West to do the soundtrack for Highlander. He remade Bohemian Rhapsody, so it will be just as good. Why? I'm going to press X to doubt. I mean, he may be telling me the truth, but I'm going to press X to doubt. I'm not sure Kanye's a good mix for Highlander. Mephisto's here. I'm so grateful to see you this morning, my friend. I have been, you've been part of my evening prayers, and I know you're in harm's way. So just be safe and take care of yourself and your family. Michael Krinsky's here. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. I'm going through here. Oh my gosh, Ram Bam's here. Ram Bam 3000. All right. Well, that story's over. Let's move on. Who we got out there? Well, we got a crazy Whoopi. That's right. Whoopi went Whoopi. She's crazy. The view this week was just nuts between the Schwarzenegger appearance and Whoopi trying to downplay the atrocities, half around the world from us here right now. You know what? Let's do the news bit on this. This is crazy stuff. I could not believe this when I saw it. And I hate the idea that she's, in my opinion, maybe I'm wrong. In fact, I would like you guys to weigh in on this. Whoopi Goldberg is a race baiter. Tell me I'm wrong. And tell me why. Everything that this lady does now is play into identitarian politics, whether that be on a racial side of things, a man-woman side of things. She's taking stances that I find just ridiculous and disgusting and grossly inaccurate. But she was downplaying modern atrocities in Iran, claims life is just as bad for Black Americans in the US. Now, I know a considerable portion of you are Black. I know there's a considerable portion of Hispanics in my audience. My demographic tree is amazing. I have more female representation in my audience than most YouTubers. Thank you, ladies. Thank you very much. And I hope I have enormous amounts of ladies watching a different take on modern dating and everything else on the Campione Reacts channel. You need to check that out. I'll be recording again today with Steph and maybe some others as the day goes on. There's endless material out there for that channel. And I don't go over the edge like a lot of the crazy humans that are doing it now. Regardless, back to this lady. So Whoopi, well, here, we'll just read it. She is the co-host and kind of the lead hen in the hen house. She clucks all over the place. She's the View. She did trigger widespread backlash this week after making a stunning on-air claim that life for Black Americans is equivalent to life under current authoritarian regime in Iran. Let me tell you something. Friends here on YouTube that have significant followings that you probably know, you probably heard her story. Her and her family were kicked out of Iran, run off by the current regime there. Women are treated in ways that you can't imagine. This is a country that before the takeover in 78 or 79, if I remember correctly, before that was open, beautiful, kind of a gem. And they reverted so terribly that, I mean, they treat women as third-class citizens. They're no better than the leather on the bottom of their shoes. And this is the garbage that Whoopi's spilling. Does she not realize that most Americans have some kind of understanding of the background of that country and how open and westernized it was before the regime change? So the statement during a debate with co-host Alyssa Farah Griffin, who had been detailing the many human rights violations carried out by the Iranian government, as anyone's surprised, including executions over personal orientation, imprisonment of women for dress code violations, and violent silencing of dissent. Yeah. Goldberg interrupted the conversation to inject a historical grievance. Once again, the voice of reason says less than 1.6% of American citizens back in the time of the horrible period of slavery here in the United States, less than 1.6% of citizens had slaves. And by the way, they weren't all white. If you talk to Lorena Creole or anybody that, is educated and very well schooled on the history of the times, she will tell you that it wasn't limited to just white people. Black people owned slaves. The Spaniards owned slaves. I mean, and again, this gets into a crazy place. But she's trying to draw equivalence into a historical point in time with where we are now and what's happening to people in Iran. Regardless. Griffin then tried to explain that modern-day American life is nothing like the brutal theocratic regime in Iran, and she's 1,000% right on that. Goldberg quickly responded, "Not if you're Black." I'm going to have this one. Okay, guys, I'm going to make a video on this story with Kevin Apollo, and he and I are going to talk about this because he will lose his stuff as soon as he gets his voice back. Guy was sick for a week. Anyway, Dr. Sheila Nazarian, I cannot pronounce that name, whose family fled Iran in, it's 85, sorry, after her father was placed on state watch list called Goldberg's comparison deeply misguided. Yeah. This whole show takes L's all the time. The Schwarzenegger L was enormous. And Sunny Houston, whose cat's claws on her hands, whose husband's likely to go to prison because of RICO. She kept trying to reach out to Arnold to get him to stop talking the truth to people, was breaking their narratives, was breaking the virus that is people succumb to on that program. Anyway, while discrimination is a serious issue in the U.S., comparing it to life under a totalitarian theocracy like Iran is not only inaccurate, it's offensive. In Iran, the government controls nearly every aspect of life. Nearly. Are you kidding me? People can be imprisoned, tortured, and executed for peaceful actions, for how they dress, or simply having an opinion. The Iranian American journalist Lisa Daftari also sounded off on these comments, saying the very fact that Whoopi Goldberg, as a woman and a person of color, can speak her mind freely on national television without punishment prove just how free she is. In Iran, saying the wrong thing gets you imprisoned or worse. Yeah, killed. Drawing these parallels like Whoopi did is not only misinformed, it is disgustingly disingenuous because she knows better. I'm tired of this. We have more in common than what divides us. If you don't make your life about identitarian politics, you're fine. Humphrey Bear says, big flop. Oh, yeah. We'll get to Elio in just a moment. Al Pastor are the king of tacos, sweet, salty, and spicy. I'm unfamiliar. Gollum. Gabby13 says, hi, y'all. Sick in bed. Oh, no. While looking after my husband. That's terrible. I hope you have a better week than mine. I hope you feel better, Gabby. Thanks for being here, dear. We got an amazing set of gifties from the one and only Jillian H., who I will email again today to see what availability looks like for her. We've got Michael Krinsky out there. Stay safe out there. Please. Please. When in doubt, press X. I did. I pressed X way back when. It is a heat wave. That's right. We got a super chat from Jillian as well, which I'm going to grab here in just a moment. Battle Bunny, you chopped off your beard. I'm just saying. Yeah, I did, but it'll be back. It grows quickly. What the heck happened to Guinan? She was once fairly normal. Yep. Can she still call herself Goldberg? I don't know why not. See, I don't believe in any of this appropriation, I don't believe in any of that garbage. I think if you want to, call yourself whatever, I can. I just don't understand her. She's a pure propagandist. Yes, Jill, I agree with you 1,000%. William Schweikert says, CultureCasino, I just saw a video where Whoopi wants to bring back Song of the South. Yeah, she was an advocate for it all the way back in the late 80s, early 90s. I think there's a couple of videos out there talking about it. And the idea is, I mean, we've come so far. It's the same thing like Morgan Freeman leans into and many others. Soul. I can go through a list of people and just say, look, this is where we were. This is where we are. The tales of Uncle Remus were of their time and very important to the people who, told them. Ask Lorena Creole. Again, I'm going to always point you back to people who have done the research, have been a part of history, and and just has deep ties to some of these things in their family. Speaking of which, Lorena Creole tomorrow night is celebrating 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, on YouTube. You know what? She started at similar times. She's always been just amazing on the platform. So please stop by and check her out tomorrow evening. I'll be there for a little while at least. So that's good. I'm convinced now that Whoopi has a split personality. It's a possibility, but not having the appropriate credentials, I'm not going to say so. Um, Snakes and Funerals makes a good suggestion. I'm starting to think that if anybody starts to couch things in these types of language, uh, in this type of language and in this the way, I think they should be forced to go to these places. But see, in the United States, we don't force people to do stuff. So there's that. The lovely Sherry says, what I have been asking forever. Why is the view still on? I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know. This lady is supposed to be a comedian. Nothing she's ever said have I ever found funny. And she's got the second longest terms of service on this bleeping show. The only person who is an actual journalist and capable of leading this gaggle of cackling cankle ladies was Barbara, and she died. I'm disappointed. It's disappointing that Whoopi says this kind of nonsense, that she's been in the Hollywood entertainment world for decades. It's bad for the brain. It truly is. Weatherman. Some of my best friends are men. I have to check with them to find out their race because I don't care. I don't think anybody does. I grew up in the era of don't care. Most of us did. It's only recently that this stupid mentality showed up in our world where you have to lead with the identitarian checkboxes. Nobody cares in America. Hey, Georgia Peach is here. Perpetual victims, no matter how successful and wealthy. Possibly. There she is, the lovely Jillian H. for 5 Culture Casino. Cash has got to run to trivia playoffs. Oh boy! Hello to all the amazing fellow Culturians and sending intention for Meph's safety. That's good. That's right, Mephisto's safety. Whoopi sucks and is not Guinan. I agree with you, dear. Right on top of it. Yeah, Whoopi getting called out for that by other black people. She's getting wrecked. And she deserves every moment of it. Okay, so Lasher agrees with me. She is a race baiter. She's mean, angry, rich lady. Yeah. Yeah. And yet she managed to lift her leg up high enough with her Ugg boots on to step over the victim fence and stand on with the victim side of things. Of course, I paraphrased a joke from a guy who's now a complete idiot, Bill Burr, but still not wrong. Oh, man, my Slack's going crazy this morning. Barry, the Music Man, says something complimentary. This is my favorite chat group. This is the best chat on all of YouTube. That's why. And I appreciate all of your support, guys. Yeah, the crew here, the Culturians, that's you guys. The Culturinos, that's also you guys. They're the best, no doubt. No doubt. My culture warriors. RPG Adventurer 32. Yeah, but that is mostly true in most Islamic countries, not just Iran. Well, to varying degrees, certainly. But I think some of the harshest conditions are in Iran. And I think, once if there is, I feel like it's coming, whether we want it or not. There's going to be a lot of baloney talk about regime change. It is what it is. Yep, exactly. Iran in the 1970s was liberal and pro-West. They were. I grew up then. I know. I was here. Hey, Mark Medina's in the house. Good to see you. Super thanks. That's right, Battle Bunny. We got a few more super chats to get to. I just sorry, this week the View pushed my irritation button, which means next week there'll be at least one or two videos about the View and the trash bag that they are. Yeah, I can't believe it. Still, I'm going to roll over this one for a while. Yeah, the history has been wild. Let's see. Culture Casino, Choctaw Indians kept their slaves until about a year after Juneteenth. I did not know that, Bubble Yogi. That is interesting. I have to look that up. Oh, F Troop. Oh, okay. Fallen Angel D Links. Okay, I get it. I get it. Not a fan of Whoopi Goldberg. All right. Yeah, Mexican Iron Man is on X. He is. He is. That's exactly right, Jeff. He's a good guy. He's a friend. It's sad that people don't learn about history, but those that are aware of historical events are blatantly rewriting those important periods to suit their own needs. Downright blasphemous. I agree with that as well. Yeah. Look, I'm tired of a lot of this nonsense and how it's being spun in the media and how they're trying to change history, that we all learned in history books because inconvenient to the current narrative of a tiny little slice of uh, political and college indoctrination tactic. It's wild. Anyway, I'm going to skip away from that. Yeah, I hope Kevin gets better soon. Yeah, no, yeah. Kevin's one of my favorite people. I love hanging out with him. I'm trying to get him regularly to do videos with me before he becomes way too popular because when he launches his channel, you know, he's going to be huge. Dude is brilliant. Oh my gosh. I wish I had his willpower on working out like he does too. Sonny's maternal grandfather was a I did not know that that was true. That he was Jewish. No idea. I don't. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't look into people's backgrounds unless they give me reason to. So I'm not a fan of Sonny, and she's not a very good attorney. Let's say. Dean Krantz in the house. My brother was murdered in the Detroit 1973. Oh my God. Wow. I'm sure the View will have another legal notice to put out soon. They live on them, don't they, ASCII? It just kind of feels that way. The View is filled with a bunch of borons. Well, that was a good way to clean that up. What will it truly take for this show to get canceled? I think something egregious that could cost them their broadcast license. Okay, I'll go check it out. Oh yeah, if Lorena got on the View, she would make them all cry. She has her depth of knowledge is amazing. I miss hanging out with her every Sunday. Wait, did culture just say I'm allowed to identify as a 14-year-old Korean school? I did not say that. No. No, you get to identify as what you are. No more, no less. And by the way, how do you convert a human to a fire truck? Because that's what a lot of kids wanted to be when they were younger. Or a dinosaur? Give me a break. Chris Dickerson. Yeah, I do a Saturday morning update at 8 Pacific time every Saturday. And I lead right into one of my favorite shows on the planet, the Salty Nerd Podcast, with Matt and Dutch Butters and Brain and my buddy Odin and Tom and somebody else you probably know. And I think this Saturday is Mr. Reagan. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss this show. Mr. Reagan's amazing. Hey, over here, says Tom. Magnify over there. What's up, buddy? Good to see you. I want to say thank you again to the very early gifty from Weatherman at the beginning of the stream with a boom membership. And yeah. Be more better. Gonna be more better. Look at all these. Jan Monroe's here. The View is still on because they still make money for the high bound. Am I reading that right? Yeah, for the high bound ABC News division. Yep, I was reading that correctly. It will be like those protesters who went to Egypt. They found out it is not like the U.S. Yeah, they did. They found out rather quickly. And Weatherman did it again. Holy cow, another gifty over on the green machine. Thank you, Weatherman. And Jeff Pearson just won that one. Well done. Thank you, Weatherman. The average person in Iran, I don't have an issue with. That's the thing, right? I bet you they would love to return to the 70s, the heyday of their society. Man, I will say, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to be very nice. So, Whoopi was funny at one point in time. I'm sure you all remember that. Barry the Music Man for 10 Culture Casino Cash. Thank you, my friend. Saying my first ever super chat. My goodness, thank you. I'm very honored. We won't hurt you, I promise. Just want to say the Culture Crew is my favorite place to group chat. You have a great people here, and Culture, your top shelf brother. Thank you, my friends. That is incredibly complimentary. I appreciate that, Barry, and I thank you for being here every day since you've joined us. I really do appreciate that. Mark Daly, another pal. This guy, go Big Blue. Mark says, in Iran, Whoopi would be sold, to whatever. I can't even speak to this. I have no idea. Dowry, unable to speak or show her face in public. In America, she's a millionaire. Yeah, man, is that all that true? Is it that extreme now? Wow. Dengar Renegade. Culture, don't let them destroy rivers of America, please. Culture, I've done everything I can. I'm following the right people. I've mentioned things. I've definitely talked out about it. Plus, I've been on with Pro and That Park Place. Just ranting about how stupid it is. See, one of the philosophies in theme park design, in particular Disney and Disneyland specifically, is that you have things happening at multiple eye levels. Frontierland is one of those places where you have things that are tall, you have things that are moving, you have sights, you have sounds, you have smells. Frontierland is teeming with activity, and now they're going to eliminate that. And you're going to have ka-chow all over the place instead of a lovely sound of a train whistle or a steamboat and its own bell and whistle. You're going to not hear the motion and feel, the environment around you change as you enter that part of the park. current Imagineering is incapable of developing things like that. And to think about the fact that that tall steamship in the center of the rivers of America is a kinetic event that is not done almost anywhere else outside of a Disney park. The understanding of the environment is, well, take a look at the silly redo of Splash Mountain. They didn't understand what they were doing beginning to end there, which is why that thing is constantly having downtime. The animatronics, which should be no brainers or used to be in there, are just a constant source of frustration and maintenance and a break in the show. And that's the other problem. Nobody that is coming into engineering these days and doing these projects realize that they're stepping on stage. That's what Disney is. Disney, the outward facing side to the general public, is on stage. Only when you step behind the barriers of the walls or you get beyond the berm are you off stage. Anyway, I can go off on that forever. I'm going to be started. Pilgrim Media, what's up, buddy? Says it's gotten to the point. It's gotten to the point. Protect kids from Disney. It has, and you know what? I want to talk about that as well. In fact, I'm going to talk about that in the next segment because I have a very Disney specific story and a conversation to have around it. The Raven and the Writing Desk. Great to see you. Thanks for being here. Hail to you. And thank you, Pilgrim Media, for the $2 super chat. You guys are incredible. I want to say I thank you so very much for your support. Look at all those wonderful super chats. Amazing. If Iger gets a action from the government related to their biased news, they may end up unemployed. The news group is, as in all three big networks, are liabilities and need unplugging. Yeah, I'm with you, Bill Blum. I am. And the reason being is because they're not news anymore. It's all propaganda material. It's not even, a high level of discussion when they're, speaking editorially. It's outside of the caterwaul and all the other clucking that's done on The View, it's not highbrow commentary or conversation. In fact, I would say that all of these people are intellectually challenged that are on that show. And when they bring on a guest who's not only an immigrant, but a proud American like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like they did this last week, they get embarrassed and they try to shut up. You got to shut up the immigrant now, Sonny. Yeah. Keep reaching out with those daggers on your fingers. What a trash bag. Culture sticked, you can tell. Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry, but I try to be as level-headed and a commentator in this space as I can be. I think I always have been. But there are going to be moments when these kinds of things hit me and I go off. I'm a rocket when it comes to this stuff because I live in the greatest country in the world and I know it. And if you don't think you live in the greatest country in the world, then go and live somewhere else to compare, because I think you're going to find out things are bad. And you have more limited freedoms almost anywhere else. And look, Canada is proving me right now. The Netherlands are proving me right. Some of these countries who'd gone more towards Western stylized democracy, with obviously a parliamentarian like approach to things, have been invaded by other entities who wish to do them harm and be a parasite in their very own government. I mean, you have parasites in the government in Canada. Sorry, just the truth. And I love my Canadian viewers. You guys are great. But, you got 3 states up there that are, or provinces, I should say, that are looking to leave by themselves. Those 3 provinces would be quite a powerful little country if they didn't actually solicit the U.S. government for statehood. Alberta, Saskatchewan. Yeah, those are easy leaves. You can toss another province or 2 in there and Canada's no more. Still bowing to the crown. which is compromised as all heck. All right, I got to skip through a bunch of these guys. If I didn't get to your chat, it wasn't because I didn't want to. It's because I am now at least 15 minutes behind in the chat. I will say this, Rambam, 3,000 for £5 sterling. That's proper money, folks. Says Lorena is going on The View and frame breaking those morons would be hilarious. Yeah? Yeah. I don't think these ladies realize just how far the Overton window has slid back. CC, yes, the way brides are chosen in a traditional Islamic countries mirrors practice we celebrated the end of on Juneteenth. Wow, I didn't know we were back there completely at this point, but would I be surprised? No. All right, let's move on. And look, I'm going to say it this way. Putin's cat, in a lot of ways, I agree with you. We should not be an interventionalist. Our involvement in certain circumstances has exacerbated situations. We should have diplomatic solutions more often than anything else and put boots on the ground in locations only when absolutely necessary. That's just the way it is. Godzillionaire is out there. So is DL Fendel and many others. Thanks for being here, everybody. Great to see you all. And Amelia says, you don't trust MSN, but on the Iran issue, you repeat them exact. I haven't watched any mainstream stuff. Are you talking about me? I repeat them exactly. I'm not. Oh, you are correct there, Putin's cat. Yeah, I don't want to get into any of that. I do want to get into something different though, because, well, I got off on a tangent on Disney. That's easy to get me to do, guys. I'm sure you've figured that out by now. But I will say this: they're suffering for all of their political poison that they injected into their system. 95% of the people that were conservative are no longer there. They have limited representation when it comes to thought, diversity of thought, let's say. But look, they're suffering for it. The attendance in their theme parks is falling like a rock, and especially in Florida. This summer, as a matter of fact, and you can get this from multiple sources that are either YouTube based, like Park Hoppin', or of course that Park Place, but you can get them on other sites as well, who are playing catch up, mind you, to what has been reported for a long time by my friends. They confirm reports of plummeting Walt Disney World crowd levels this summer, worst June since 2021 lockdowns. I can tell you right now, I would have no trouble booking a vacation at Disney World this month, next month, and August. The calendar and availability is open. And that's not something that's a regular occurrence at all. But yeah, worst June since lockdowns. So for weeks, that Park Place WW Pro channel have been reporting that Walt Disney World crowd levels are lower than expected this summer, which Disney knew. They knew that Epic Universe down the street was going to hurt them. I said 20% market share would be, cut there. I thought it's just going to walk down the street, and it is. At the same time, people are now realizing that Disney offers very little compared to just a decade ago, with a attractions reduction almost everywhere, and very little viable positive options. They have mediocre food at best, especially at the new festivals. They don't really go out for guest service anymore. In fact, it's nothing but negatives. There are no perks at Disney. And even their recent advertising to try to bring in younger folks and their promotions aren't working because it's too expensive, even with a 25 to 30% cost reduction. That's how wildly out of control their pricing has been, especially food and beverage. Of course, the resort stays are stupid expensive now. And even with, kids eat free or whatever promotion they eventually come up with, still not going to work. So Touring Plans has echoed some of the findings that have been reported by That Park Place and WW Pro. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Touring Plans, they were the premier service that you would have if you were planning a WDW vacation, because they would tell you the days on which to go to parks, the time on which to do other things, and even at points where you should maybe hop to another park if you had park hopping available. And the slowest Junes in Disney's history in over a decade, the 2020 closures and the 2021 limited attendance lockdown, they're saying that this is, well, a catastrophe. In its weekly crowd calendar recap, Touring Plans dropped the following bombshell. We are now looking at one of the slowest Junes on record in the past decade. Yeah, we're not worried about Epic Universe. Yeah, you were. The only slower June was in 2021. And to be fair, that was because of all the issues that were going on. The site had previously forecasted crowd levels in the 3 to 5 range for mid-June, but this past week made even that projection look optimistic. So, according to Touring Plans, crowds went and got even lower. And Barry is correct. This is all self-inflicted. All self-inflicted. So it's a ghost town summer. Yeah, it is. And they can't do anything about it. They stretched the bounds of reasonable so far that people are just like, it's not worth it. I'm going to go to Universal. I'm going to experience, 2 older aging parks that have a lot of nostalgia to them. And then they're going to the new park, Epic Universe, for all of its great offerings, which they've already started in on phase 2. And we're going to see even more expansion and hear announcements here in the next 2 weeks. You think they're going to slow down? No. This is Universal's opportunity to eat Disney's lunch. And there's a certain party over there at Comcast that isn't really palsy with Bob Iger, for good reason. So the average posted waits, these are always telling, and you can subtract at least 20 to 25% from whatever Disney tells you it's going to be. So just remember that for future visits. They're lying to you and they're stretching that time so you have higher guest satisfaction. Anyway, so Slinky Dog Dash is 67 minutes. It's less than that. Cosmic Rewind, 64 minutes, down from 83 the week before. Tron, which is not worth your 1 minute of excitement, 58 minutes, down from 72. And Flight of Passage, 55 minutes, down from 64. And Flight of Passage might be the only attraction at Disney that the wait time is even remotely accurate. So Touring Plans notes that actual waits average just 69% of posted times. So there's that, meaning even the busiest attractions were moving guests efficiently. Again, 69%, that's 30% less, or nearly 30% less, or more than 30% less than what they announced. So just remember that for your future visits. So crowd calendar failure shows severity of the drop. Why? Because the guy that built that designed the algorithm that Disney then, consulted with him on about wait times and crowd flow and everything else. Do you realize, and again, I'm going to keep touting Lorena, not only because of her show tomorrow, 5-year celebration, but also because her educated works that were published so she could graduate were on this particular thing. Crowd wait times, crowd flow, the theory around all of that, crowd theory. I think she did her dissertation on it. Regardless, Epic Universe opens, Magic Kingdom shrinks. This I said way, way before. So if we're looking at these crowd levels, what are we looking at Universal? More and more people. So what's driving the decline? Touring plans suggest that socioeconomic conditions are part of the equation. Yeah, Disney is charging too much. People don't have the extra income to dump into Disney again. But they do have the extra income. And since it costs less to, invest a little time and money into Universal. But they also point out the operational entertainment gaps, which, again, they got problems. The fewer attractions are operating less efficiently with maintenance situations that cause extended downtimes. People are tired of experiencing all the downside effects of all of that I just talked about. Plus, who wants to go on what used to be Splash Mountain and have a half baked, I was looking for the word, a half baked experience? So, Magic Kingdom appears especially deserted, with guests likely holding off visits until the new nighttime parade arrives. But to be fair, how many more people is that going to draw? Disney no longer inspires. It doesn't excite. There's dwindling hype. And they're investing more time and money in adult entertainment because that's the audience they're drawing in, which means their future, since they're not catering to the family anymore, is toast. And let's talk about that because it's a side effect both at Disney and everywhere else in pop culture as I lose my headphones. But it's also it's a result of political shifts and identitarianism. And I know all the stuff you don't want to hear, all the politics stuff you probably don't want to talk about. But that's what's happening across everything right now. And we don't need this anymore. We can go back to the main screen. But Disney is killing their future. They're killing future interest. They're on the slippery slope and they're gaining speed on the way down. Whether it be in their film or television industries, streaming, everything they invested in the adult side of things. But you need kids. That's the future. Companies that sell things largely are focused on the younger generations. If you have political affiliations that are trying to keep people from reproducing or doing everything adversarially to people who would reproduce, first of all, you're going to get a dwindling political party. I'm sure you can read the tea leaves into what I'm saying there. But you're also going to get a decline in the future participation. One side of the aisle has kids, the other one doesn't. I mean, you can divide it into workers and non-workers. You can divide it into, at a certain age, things stop. One of the reasons demographics are important in advertising is because you need to advertise to people who are going to consume your product, which is why you are inundated when you go to mainstream, which I don't. But that's why you're inundated with pharma commercials. Over in the real world, if you want to have a youthful generation, if you want to have a healthy future, you invite the side in that has kids. I mean, kids do various things. They can participate in music, in sports, and all kinds of things that are youthful activities. There's a new generation to buy your trumpet. There's a new generation to buy your football, your baseball, your volleyball, your basketball. It also gives the adults an opportunity to engage with their child. Everything's swinging back to the familial side of things, except for the people that are trying to willfully ignore the markets that they could exploit in a capitalist approach that would lead to further profits. Disney, on the other hand, and many others are going backwards in time. Comcast is the only one looking forward at this moment. The cruise line business isn't doing Disney any favors right now. Everybody thinks they're too high priced for very little plus side. Outside of the nonstop character interactions that you could experience on a cruise ship, and when I say nonstop, it's probably only maybe 2 or 3 opportunities a day, and one of those is at a meal. You don't really see as much of the characters as you would expect, other than the initial celebration and the the night you launch your bon voyage, leaving the port situation. That's about the top end for that experience, and it's just that if you're going for that reason, it's a very expensive character meet and greet. I think Disney still remains about 20% higher than the rest of the industry across the board for similar experiences. So they're losing ground. They're losing. They're cutting. In fact, there's another article in that Park Place. They're slashing the deposits required for a Disney cruise, and they're reducing the prices for a Disney cruise. Do you know why? Because the Oasis class ships of Royal Caribbean embarrass Disney right now. They do. Disney's spending $1 billion to, play catch up on ship quality and size. But at the same time, they're still falling behind with some antiquated ideas and a misunderstanding of why people would want to go on a Disney cruise in the first place. So parks and experiences are going to suffer, and that's going to happen for a long time because you took out the nostalgic reason for what the adults go back for, and you're not exposing that new generation to a Disney park. So when somebody asked me a question like earlier in the stream about Rivers of America, and by the way, brilliant, and thank you. You are getting rid of the future by getting rid of the past. I know that sounds silly, but it's the truth. And trying to bring Walt back as an animatronic is so misguided. That is the epitome of stupidity. Yeah, you can get him to say whatever you want, but then what are you at that point? Well, you've got an animated version of propaganda. Not great. First of all, you should never attack your founder. You should really lift him up. He should be that elevated personality that everybody strives for and calls out for, not just being a visionary and a creative, but also a leader. Disney hasn't had a leader in a long time. So here we are with the decline of Disney that's so easy to call out and even easier to fix. But because of ideology that has poisoned this company to the very core, you end up with something like Snow White. You end up with something like Elio, which we're going to talk about next. You end up with things that feel hollow because they are. No one's going to go back and, look back nostalgically at Turning Red or Elemental or this piece of garbage called Elio. Nobody's going to look back and say, hey, I like the live action version of Snow White. If you don't create things that people love, you will eventually expire. And that's what's happening to the Disney company, which I had been so involved in for so very long. And I think many of you here probably feel the same. Regardless, let's jump into the Elio thing. Unless some of you guys sent, I'm looking to see if we got any new super chats out there. Nope. Elio. Sorry. Can you guys tell I'm a little frustrated? But hey, it's not just Disney making subpar material. Based on all the reviews from most of the people that I know, there are a few people that enjoy this. RMB enjoyed this 28 years later film, but nobody's coming back and saying they enjoy Elio. And that's why 28 years later, a horror movie is going to beat the face off of a Pixar film. This never happened in the world before. The world before politics invaded Disney and replaced a wonderful familial environment with family entertainment with everything is politicized and lives within a checkbox universe and caters to a tiny fraction of the populace that would be interested in the modern audience. I don't know if you recognize the modern audience as a farce or not, but you probably are catching on to it. And I would say everybody in my audience probably sees it. So Elio is going to do 22 million to 24 million, and I still think that's high, especially based on the previews, which it did 2.5 to 3 million in previews. That would be Thursday previews and the earlier screenings. This is perfect. And this is from somebody who has definitely got their eyes on the their finger on the pulse of things there in the 19 blocks that is Hollywood. Elio is a basic cable Saturday morning cartoon. If that, He-Man was better. And yeah, William, I know we're all frustrated. But 22 million to 24 million, you know what's going to win? Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon is going to carry over from last weekend and its stellar premiere opening to this weekend is number one again. Number one, How to Train Your Dragon. Number two, 28 years later. And number three, Elio. The fall off in box office from weekend to weekend for Dragon is going to be the tell-all of what that film's future looks like, because I'll be able to actually figure the trend. But if it stays on the positive side of 50%, it's going to be fine. 28 years later, while being the number one performer in the franchise history, will make a profit. Elio might be in the same scale of loser as Snow White. And they both suffered from production problems because they were both shoveled full of propagandist material that they had to pull out. They had to go back and shoot Snow White twice more. So they filmed it 3 times, basically. At least they added substantially in the second attempt and the third. And they had to add all that so they could pull out other story elements, which is why the film does not feel cohesive. It doesn't feel linear. And it looks like dog duty. Elio suffers from everything. You just have to read what Alan Ing wrote over on Film Thread. But when you look at yesterday afternoon, 28 years later was coming in at $14 million Friday on top of, I think, 8.5 million. So it was already well on its way to 28 to 30 million. I think that's about right. It's only in 3,400 theaters. But again, it's a horror movie. And a horror movie is going to beat a Disney movie, a Pixar movie. Twenty 28 years later's First Friday is also ahead of 2022's Scream, which is telling you that the horror films are making a comeback. And that skews more to an adult audience because it's R-rated. I think horror films are going to stick around for a long time, kids. How to Train Your Dragon has 35.2 million. It's got a 58% after a second Friday of 10.7 million today. So running cume by Sunday at theaters is going to be domestic only 158.6 million. Do you realize where Thunderbolts was and is to this very day? Do you know where Captain Anti-America was? when you start looking at this stuff, you're going to realize that it appears they're intentionally killing all of this stuff. I'm going to tell you the streaming service at Disney's not going to benefit from any of this stuff dying. In fact, I would say that Hulu will complete a takeover of everything streaming in the very near future. I don't think Iger's folly is going to prove successful. Rob Alta says, Disney, let kids be kids. They'll have enough time to address politics later in life. I agree. CC, I take no pleasure in saying this, but Disney is no longer the company we grew up loving. No, it isn't, Mark. I know. It's a zombie, a shadow of its former self, infected by evil and seeking to spread that evil. Well, it's doing an effective job of it, but it's killing the overall company. So Elio, with about 9 million today, 9 million on a Friday, which includes the preview number, which means it only made $6 million on Friday. They're praying for 22 to 24 million. How many people do you think are going to go see this movie? It's not visually inspiring. Anyway, weekend 5 of Paramount in 2,600 theaters saw $6.6 million on Friday. In other words, it performed better than Elio. It only has 178.4 million domestic cum. It's kind of disappointing. Regardless, A24's second weekend with Materialists in 2,800 theaters got 1.8 million on the second Friday and an estimated 5.4 for the weekend. So we are looking at a cum of 23.5 million. This film's still a loser, not just domestically, but globally as well. We'll see what the end totals are, but this is rather telling, a 51% fall off so far. Regardless, this is a sad weekend, folks. It's going to cross 100 million, though. So it's good for the theater owners. Not real good, but good. I see Rob Altus out there. Good to see you, buddy. Disney, yeah, I already highlighted it, but it's great to see you, Rob. Disney delenda est. Make an example of them so no other entertainment company follows their path. There you go. Phil, what's up? Says, I didn't trust the trailer to be any good. Yeah, I don't think anybody did. What do you hate more, Elio or fast zombies? I'm not a fan of fast zombies. I like slow zombies because then I just get away from them. Fast zombies are a pain. You got to go headshot every time. Remember when dragons were terrifying yet magnificent, airborne weapons of mass destruction? I do. I'm going to tell you, outside of the last season and a half of Game of Thrones, it is what it is. Phil Metzger, 28 years later, is it very good? It depends on who you talk to. Like I said, RMB, Robert Meyer Burnett, and Mr. H Reviews seemingly liked it. At least that's my takeaway from posts that I've seen on X. I still have yet to see it. Still planning to. Just have much going on right now that I need to finish or wrap up. So it's possible I won't see it until Monday. Vic, you're right. The original is much better. The How to Train Your Dragon. The original is much better. I agree with you thoroughly. But I enjoyed it. Well, you can do a pop-out chat, Battle Bunny, if you're on a browser, which is the three dots at the top of the chat window. Otherwise, you have to hit reload to reload the entire browser screen. Hey, Andy's here. What's up, buddy? And Zombie Box would be able to tell you 28 years later was great. And that's what he would know. Thanks, Andy. Appreciate you, buddy. Can't wait to see you on Tuesday. Let's see what else is out there. Buddy Hepburn, hey buddy, says 28 years later will likely have a big drop off. It was lumbering and a bore. A lot of people said it was slow. My buddy Comics Division, Ian K, he said specifically that it was slow, but they kind of all have been slow. I think a lot of people got invested in the psychological aspects of the storyline, but they, according to many who've seen it, they sidelined the best character. That's not good. I guess Brave is the next live action film. Well, they canceled a bunch of them. Again, Disney is not doing well with them. If anything, I'm skeptical and a little nervous about the live action Zelda. Other than that, it is what it is. And everybody's tired of remakes, rehashes, reboots, threequels, fourthquels, rebootquels. Even the people in Hollywood. I mean, Dakota Johnson's not making friends, but she's being very straightforward and honest about her opinions on that. I mean, a lot of people would say, well, she's a Nepo baby that, got into Hollywood and immediately had to show all of her jiggly bits. But everything that she's tried to do since, hit and miss. And a lot of that is because of the way Hollywood casts or miscasts people constantly. Bobo Yogi, I think District 10 is a winner. I do. Oh, so you're enjoying the shift in the when I swipe or I transition scene to scene. Yeah, it's kind of neat. I like that effect. What I don't like is people that are wishy-washy. And that, of course, is none of you here, but it is the greater part of Hollywood. And, of course, anybody who does a lot of chatty chat. Juliet for £2 again, proper money. Thank you, dear. Says 28 days later made 14 million Friday. Elio 9 million. Yeah. And think about this. That 9 million adds in the early screenings plus the Thursday previews. So it took them early screenings, Thursday previews, which were about 3 million, and then added 6 to it. So technically on Friday, the film made $6 million, which means that Mission Impossible outperformed it. It's dumb. But anyway, back to those flip-flopping wackadoodles, and thank you for the $2 super chat, dear. We've got Bill Maher being a moron. Yep. He said that he's blaming Democrats' election loss and Andrew Tate's rise on TV to endless parade of eye roll short bus dads. Well, Bill, you share a lot in common with those short bus dads. You were a comedian after all, and supposedly still are, although I don't think you say very much that's funny. But he wrapped up his 700th episode of Real Time. He got on his soapbox to mourn the supposed loss of masculinity in media. You're part of that, Bill. You're not exactly the most masculine dude. Look in a mirror. During Friday's New Rules segment, the comedian launched into a rant about manhood and blamed film and television's endless parade of eye-roll short bus dads for Democrats losing the election. He said, let's make the Father's Day we just celebrated the last one that takes place in a culture where dads have become such punching bags. Literally the last demographic group that TV ads and movies can still depict as clueless, useless dip thongs. Basically just another child mom has to look after. He's right. But again, Bill, you're part of this. You've been contributing to it. He blamed the 1987 comedy Three Men and a Baby for the decline of masculinity in culture. I actually thought that was a very well done film. Could be wrong. And went as far as to link sitcoms like Married with Children, The Simpsons, Modern Family, and Malcolm in the Middle, as well as the Apple TV series Your Friends and Neighbors, to the uprising of figures like convicted R-word and the alleged trafficking of Andrew Tate. I have to use a lot of different words here. And I get it that this is a correction to centuries of women being deemed the weaker sex. Ladies, can we speak frankly? Because Frank's here, by the way. Good to see you, Frank Hammond. The genders, the sexes, let's say it that way, because the word gender is garbage. The sexes have strengths and weaknesses, male or female. Physically weaker? Sure. In the aggregate. But strengths that men don't have in other things. Men are physical. Ladies are driven by emotional. There's no arguing it. It's just the way we were built. So when this knucklehead says something like this, he's stepping on his own argument anyway. But how long does this correction last? And when will men stop making me throw up in my mouth with the way pander so negatively? I guess he took jabs at Cleopatra, Hillary Clinton, Marie Antoinette to support his point. Besides being historically naive, this cringy pandering is why teenage boys flock to jerks like Andrew Tate. Well, he's kind of giving them a roadmap to pursue strengthening themselves both physically and mentally. But there are a lot of people on the internet that do that. I'd like to think I kind of have some thoughts on that, and it's the reason I started the other channel. Yes, he's a huge butthead. Saying Tate's crimes and massive following as a self-proclaimed misogynist. And your kid thinks he's cool because that's the choice of role models the American teenage boy has. Either a performative male feminists or the manosphere. Well, and that's another reason I started the channel I did. I don't want to be part of the manosphere. Maybe a little bit related tangentially. But it's also the reason I outnumber myself with ladies on that channel. I want to talk about this kind of thing. That's what that channel's for, not this one. But I want to do it in an adult way, which I think is lacking severely when you look at a lot of other channels in that sphere, let's say. Mark concluded, I'm just saying, men, we're not completely useless. Okay, we're only partially useless. Again, this guy should know language better than this. He is a comedian, but he has to leave just enough in there so that, the people on the extremist side of the area that he represents don't come, with pitchforks and torches to his door. So if you want to know what to get dad for next Father's Day, how about a little respect? And that's the thing, because that's one of the things men value above all else. Appreciation and respect. It's as simple as it has to be. And yet Bill still weighs in on the side of mainstream and TV. Anyway, Mark Daly for 10 Culture Casino Cash says, extremism is the pursuit of liberty. Extremism in pursuit of liberty is no vice, and moderation is opposition to tyranny is no virtue. Yeah. Barry Goldwater. That was back in the days before his mind had left him, and the neo-Marxist that he married the second time around led him down the wrong path. Barry was a very conservative man until he married wrong the second time around. Just remember that, folks. Why are they punching bags, Mar? Because wankers like you made them so. Rambam 3000, well said. Our good friend, Spirit, so great to see you, brother. Can't wait to see you again in person, live. Sends me $5 and says, hey, have the super sticker. It's a hippo saying, hype, hype. That's right, brother. So good to see you, man. I hope you're doing well. Do check out the new channel, man. I'm having a lot of fun. Going to have X-Ray Girl on this week as soon as she's back from her trip, I hope. We got Jillian H going to be showing up on a segment or two in the future. We got, hopefully I can get a couple other people, but we've definitely got Horror with Nads. That's right. Nadia's going to be on there. We've got, Steph. Steph was the premiere episode, and Tugs, who's brilliant. All of these ladies are kicking it up, and we're having an actual conversation about these things. Pretty fun. Should you make an ultimatum? That was the very first episode. And the answer to that's no. It was a bad idea. But we're going to have several of those, multiple episodes of each of these topics over the course of the next couple of years, or until you guys tire of it. But we're already growing. I think we are approaching 100. 100 subscribers over there. I was hoping to be more. I got to get to 1,000 subscribers on that channel as quickly as possible. But that's about 1/10 of the way. So if you're unfamiliar, hopefully the mods are dropping the link in the chat. It is Campione Reacts, Campione Reacts on YouTube. And I will be replicating the channel on the Green Machine in the near future. So. Yeah, I mean, this is the problem with Mar. He makes great points, but he always softens everything that he says. He doesn't use the strength of his words is lacking, let's say. Again, if you understand language, and we have a language professor in the chat right now, but if you understand language, it's precise words to use when you're trying to convey the exact sentiment of what you're saying. Got to do that. Tate is garbage. Not a great guy. Not a great guy. Wealthy guy. Not a great guy. Of course, what he was doing where he wasn't exactly, I guess, against the law, but because of his cultural impact, people were working against him. When you do something like that because of political stuff, the public sees through it. And then the backlash against what you're doing to try to thwart his efforts, it always works against you and destroys anything, and especially the moral high ground. You no longer possess it. It's strange how they went about pursuing him. But look, we have political figures in this country. They did the same thing too. JPS in the house. Good to see you. Thank you, 11 Alpha. I hope you have a great day and a wonderful weekend. We are coming up very quickly, 27 minutes from one of my favorite shows, Salty Nerd Podcast. I hope you will all go and attend that beautiful, beautiful stream with very similar conversation, I would imagine. Today, Eric K is the man, the myth, the legend, the master of mods, the mensch of wrenches, and a personal friend that I miss very much. I owe you a call, buddy. Eric K with 5 Culture Casino memberships. Thank you for that. Look at those names go green. Amazing. Yeah, I don't have a high opinion of a lot of those folks. What's up? Latino slant. Yeah, I don't really like Bill Maher's hair either. But thank you for the $2 message, my friend. Culture Casino, the Tatooine of the manosphere. That's probably true. I just think you can have a rational, thoughtful discussion on these particular goofy things that are being put on TikTok as probably some of the most toxic advice that you could possibly see. If young women are really paying attention to TikTok, and the demographics indicate that they do, they're being so misled by some of the most ridiculous thinking on the planet. And that's dumb. And that's bad. It's bad for humanity. Speaking of bad for humanity, we're going to need a story with Gunn here in a moment. But how much longer, Culture? Not much longer, actually. We're going to wrap up in 20 minutes, so you get a chance to go check out Salty Nerd Podcast. The Sassy Lass is here. She is amazing. Gotta love her. I'm glad you're good, Spirian. I've been worried about you, brother. You know that. Hey, ASCII just became a member. Welcome, ASCII, to Rewards Club. Well done. We've got the movie watch party got pushed from last Tuesday to this Tuesday. We're going to be watching The Great Outdoors. So if you are a member, gold tier or higher, join us for that. I'll be posting that up here tomorrow on Sunday. So keep your eyes peeled in the community chat. Gonna need that link, says Mark Medina. I think the mods have it. We've got Jill out there giving out the link for the Discord server. Spirian's already seen all the videos on the new channel. Awesome, dude. I hope you're appreciating it. Did you guys get that link? I can't see. I did not blow up the chat. Usually I make the words bigger on my chat screen, but I forgot to do. I did it on Rumble, so I can see all my wonderful friends on Rumble, but I don't know. Yeah, but we'll keep going. William Schweikert out there saying men were once like that, Culture Casino, with more and more masculine role models disappearing like He-Man, Rocky, Rambo, John McClane, Chuck Norris, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Keep going, brother. Yep. Men are not the strong male people they were. No, testosterone levels are falling. And again, if you want to assign that, you don't even have to be this, yoked up dude. It helps. By the way, personal physical strength, good, especially in bad situations. Stamina, good, especially in situations where you have to perform for a long time. There are lots of positives to being male. But there are also hazards, and that's a good book to read. If you're looking for something to have a better understanding as a male person, the hazards of being male might be something you would look at. I have a lot of books that talk about things like that. I read everything, guys, business books, the self-reflection books, things like that. I think introspection is incredibly important to serve yourself the very best. So, Zombie Box Reviews for £2. Sterling says, see you on Tuesday, mate. Have a great weekend. You too, brother. And thanks for weighing in on 28 years later. Doba Fett's in the house. Good to see you, Doba Fett. And a few other folks are here. Now, Gen Z men are running to their safe space to drink hot chocolate and coloring books. It's terrifying. Yeah, I don't think I'm doing that. Yeah, ASCII, I don't think is a good way to do it on the phone, and I don't think YouTube chat works well with Androids. Um, so it is what it is. My hair is fine, Latino Slant. Ask the ladies. Oh, I have not seen the Toxic Avenger trailer. Yeah, I'm not going to watch it here though. Look, I'm starting to draw a line on stuff like that because of what Lionsgate did, and they made a claim on a video that it was rising on my channel for no reason. Everything I did was within fair use. I'm pretty much disgusted now. It's going to be hard for me to promote or positively review Lionsgate things in the future. Unless this claim is settled expediently and in my favor, Lionsgate's not going to get anything positive out of me. Nick the Great in the house. I should say Nick the Greek, but I think he's great, even though he teases me. Barry's like, we have the same views, but you're kinder, nicer on expressing them. Well, I choose my words carefully, but they are weighted with intention when I speak them. So, which is why sometimes I pause because I'm thinking about the best possible way to say them, to levy them. Nick the Greek's going to be my strong male role model. Well, there you go. Lucius Nature Triste, a little Latin in the morning, says it started when they replaced Sean Connery with girly man as James Bond. I think the only girly man there was really the most recent Bond, who likes to dress in dresses. He's done it like 3 times now. What a freak show. Is the new channel going to be on YouTube? Yes. Campione Reacts, Campione Reacts, will be on the Green Machine. So it's already on YouTube. I think we got 2 videos and a clip. The 3rd video will probably land tonight or tomorrow. So keep your eyes peeled. Logan 5, there is no sanctuary. Hey, there you go. Join the cool kids on Rumble. And that's the plan. That is the plan. Yeah, Craig was the only girly Bond. Look, I'm going to say we would have had Pierce Brosnan for much longer had his Remington Steel contract not collided with the film offer. So yeah, let me tell you right now, that scene in the first film that was in Casino Royale basically was a visual representation of what they planned to do to the character. They wanted to emasculate Bond. And I'll tell you what, Amazon's likely to finish the job. Did you see the person that they had out there that they thought they were going to sell to us? Holy freak show, Batman. Speaking of freak show, well, James Gunn's not a professional and sometimes goes about saying things the wrong way. In this article from Deadline, James Gunn is irritated by the Batman 2 mania. There's no mania. There's a handful of people that want this film to show up. And he says in response, get off of Matt Reeves' huevos. Not particularly professional. In fact, I find Gunn doesn't care about any of that. I think that intentionally he is a little bit out there, especially when he speaks. And he may perceive that as an opportunity to kind of shine and to differentiate himself from others. But at the same time, to me, he just seems more juvenile. Regardless, this particular statement is fascinating because while people may be interested in seeing a Batman 2 with sparkly Batman, I didn't find sparkly Batman to be particularly intriguing. I think the best thing that they've been able to do with anybody is the Penguin show. I mean, I want as many seasons of that as I can get. Oftentimes I'm frustrated because they do so much better at telling the story of the bad guys. But then I realize, or I wake up to the fact once again, because it wasn't for the first time, that they're really good at being bad guys because they identify with the bad guys. That's why we get all the deconstructed superhero garbage and weakening of our favorites, including Superman. Superman's going to be sad, very sad. And that's bad news. It's bad news for everybody, but it's bad news for DC. So far, we've got the most depowered Superman I've ever seen. That's not good. I get frustrated by all of that. I'm not surprised though. For those of you looking for the link to the new channel, I'm going to go ahead and post it in the chat, and you can go check it out. Again, I'm trying to get this to 100 by the end of the day. I think we're at 89 or something. I thought we were already at 100, but I guess no, 85. So we're sitting at 85. I need 15 more people. I'll be dropping another video later today. I have to add some more folks that are participating in the channel to that. Because it's going to be me and my nerdy home today at the least, and maybe a couple other folks if at the best. But do check out Campione Reacts if you can. My great friend and the powerful one himself, Eric K, for 5 Culture Casino Cash says, I predict the James Gunn production of the James Gunn film with the James Gunn dog will make all the James Gunn that a James Gunn could make. Yes. I have to tell you that the characterization by Friday Night Tights of the Superman presents James Gunn is probably correct. I think this guy's ego is so far in front of it all that one, I think that's probably part of the reason why he dropped the nuke on Marvel. But two, I think that I think that he is trying to level his ego with Kevin Feige. So far, he hasn't produced anything that I deem enjoyable. As I said in one of the videos I made last week, I mean, it's not that I hate Peacemaker. It's just not to my taste. Creature Commandos was complete garbage. The only thing that I enjoyed at all was the Penguin, which I'm not sure to what extent he had much to do with. I wasn't as high on his version of the Squad, the self-delete Squad. So there's that. The best Bond is always Sean Connery. Indeed. Roger Moore was too old to do the role. I don't know if people realize that he was quite old when he started performing Bond. It's a true story. Anyway, back to this. I don't really care if we get a second Batman. I really don't. There's a lot of stuff going on with that. And it seems like the script is the only thing that needs to be dropped before they go. And I hope Matt is doing better. He's been reported to be having some difficulties, and I like what Matt Reeves does with film. I just don't know that we need a second Batman film. But it gets worse than that because, well, there's more speculation about that movie every day. In fact, there was just recently a Bleeding Fool article, not Bleeding Cool, Bleeding Fool. Go to the cool one, by Karina Smith that kind of outlined what kind of limbo Pattinson's film is in, and whether or not the cape and the cowl will get the boot. You should probably go over and read that. Here's the Here's the representation of that on the screen here. The Batman and DCU limbo. It's a great article. Good job here by Karina. Do check it out. We were going to cover that today, but I ran over a little bit on my Disney reaction, so I want to apologize for that. We're about 12 minutes out right now from Salty Nerd Podcast, which means I'm getting ready to leave the screen, but I don't leave anyone behind if I can at all get away with it. And thank you, Eric K., for reposting the new Campione Reacts channel on the screen. And Lasher says, I'm not a gun fan myself. Look, I think the first Guardians was great, and the second one was a major step down. And by the time we got to the last one, I was uncomfortable with the themes and some of the scenes. I also thought it was a more hollow story that didn't actually move a greater story forward. I do hope we get more Rocket Raccoon in the future, but who can count on anything at this point? When DC is done with Gunn, the industry will be done with him. And I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think superhero movies are going to be around much longer. They need to be rested. Like Doctor Who. Doctor Who needs to take a 15-year nap before it tries to come back. And then maybe, just maybe, society will have corrected itself and we won't end up with so politically driven message in all of these things. I think we're tired of it. No. I don't think it. I know everybody's tired of it. Again, you cannot cater to a sliver of an audience and expect a win. And you can't sell nostalgia to people who don't have kids. It's very basic principles here. And it's disgusting that the likes of Vanguard and State Street and the big evil one itself, BlackRock, Blackstone's not helpful either. All of these entities that artificially prop up these corporations for political purposes, not even for financial sense. It's all being done to disassemble Western society. I think that's a real problem. And again, it shows you who's participating. Disney is the leader in the clubhouse right now. Everybody else is still out on the track on the amount of compromised an organization can be, which is why Disney media is collapsing into a toilet. Anyway. Hey, Keep It Real's here. Well, now, it's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Hope you're doing well. One of my favorite films of all times, On Her Majesty's Secret Service, was the most underrated Bond film of all. I agree. I will tell you that had Lazenby continued to be Bond, I think we would have got a much grittier and more capable physical performer, because that's what he was. He didn't have to slow anything down. He was kind of, a stunt man and an actor. And I really do appreciate his performances, especially when there was more nuance in a character, which sometimes Bond did have actual romance in it, but that was probably the best representation of it. So, Cynthia Carter, Lasher Brosnan is my favorite too. A lot of people loved it. Yeah, I think, like I said, you would have got him for a much longer period of time, which means you probably wouldn't have got Tim at all. Tim was kind of the stand-in waiting for Brosnan to become available. I know that's sounds a little rough, a little disrespectful, but it's the truth. I tell you what, the most violent Bond movie does feature Timothy Dalton. I'm a huge Bond fan. I started to see Bond movies before I should have as a young person, because one of my grandfathers loved it. And so on the weekends, it was always one of the videotapes of Bond in the VCR. I love talking about Bond. Woke destroys everything. Destroyer Deck, you are on point. Well said and accurate. Is Kamichi here? Did I miss Kamichi? Kamichi is here. Honestly, DC fell. Marvel took the full blow after going dying, And now Superman is making a last stand. Yeah, no, spot on. And it's great to see you. I see you everywhere else. I'm glad Arnold Schwarzenegger picked a side recently. Yeah, it's kind of nice to see. Look, he's not being held back by the Kennedy family and all their nonsense now. Although I'm going to tell you right now, Kennedy family, they're definitely split there now. So. What? I don't like black anything? No, that's not true. What are you talking about? Do you not see the people I stream? Anyway. Culture Casino mods and chat. It only let me send my comment if I pause the stream. My mobile's been wonky since AI was added. Oh yeah, dude, I disabled all of those things, young lady. I got rid of it. My computers, I'm shutting that all down. No. No, thank you. I do not want you anywhere near any of my stuff. Yeah. Brandon, you're wrong. Dalton was an interruption, buddy. Now, unless you're talking about Dalton in the original Roadhouse film. By the way, I can't believe they're making a second crappy remake of Roadhouse or a sequel to that. They're talking about adding Batistas. Jeez, they're dumb. Very dumb. Is Chris here? Yeah, there's Chris. I saw Chris earlier. All right. Oh, joke on BlackRock. Okay. I'm like going, wait a minute. Oh, man, you guys are great. All right. Well, I'm going to do it the right way, folks. I'm going to end a little early, give you a chance to go grab your snacks and drinks and sit down, maybe make some popcorn for the Salty Nerd podcast, fellas, coming up in just about 5 minutes. I appreciated your time on a lovely Saturday. I hope the rest of your weekend is extraordinary. And if you haven't yet joined Campione Reacts, this is your opportunity to do so. I look forward to seeing you all there. And hopefully we have a video out, if not tonight, tomorrow. I got to go do a bunch of recording anyway. And I'll say it this way. Be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others. And until next time, which is probably Monday, see ya. For real.
Yeah. Sometimes I get so mad, there's no controlling me. My thoughts get so bad, I'm like, I might grab a bat, I don't know. My wrath, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll put it on your face just to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you go wish you would shut the fuck up real bad. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. And now that I'm gone, yeah, I know there's no turning back. I don't fucking take smoke, I'ma poke a hole through you, choking's overdue. Come at me and you won't get any older, dude. Crack your holder too. Heating up inside of me, blood so violently. Thanks for trying me. Now it's finally time to see how this rivalry becomes my